Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I'm Holly. Welcome. I'm happy to have you here. As most of you know, I am trying to do my Weight Watchers program again, so I'm trying to just make myself some of these meals. These are going to be chicken marinades that I can just take out of the freezer on a night or the night before, so I have something I can cook quickly. But I'm just going to show you some quick and easy ones that I'm putting together. This is a basil balsamic marinade, and I'm using 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper and salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil. And you just want to make sure you have a sturdy Ziploc bag, and I'm using quart size since I'm using single servings for myself. And these can be adjusted for a larger family. Just use more chicken and more of the marinade. But I'm just trying to show you, this is 2 chicken breasts that I have cut up, and how I'm doing this. You can easily just put the chicken breast in the bag on its own, but I like to do it in portions because I feel like the marinade gets in a little bit better. So for this, I'm trying to cut them up, and I feel like the marinade will season it a little bit more. And I realized I did not film, but put the marinade in the bag. You just mix everything up, pour it over the chicken, make sure that everything's mixed together, and just seal it up well. And that's all you have to do for the marinade. And 5 points for this is, it's 4 points for the olive oil, 2 points for the vinegar, and it's free for the seasoning. But I don't feel like all of the oil is going to go, you're not going to eat all of the oil. It will stay in the bag, some of it. Now, this next one is an Italian herb chicken marinade. So I'm going to show you real quick how to put this one together. And I'm using 2 tablespoons of olive oil for this, but the same, I don't feel like everything's going to be eaten. I think it's going to stay in the bag, some of it. But you need 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil, 1/2 teaspoon of dried parsley, 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. And you can always adjust any of these seasonings if you want. And I'm just going to mix that all together and pour that into the bag. So, as I said before, I feel like some of the oil, because oil has a lot of points, so the less you use, the better. But like I said, I feel like some of it's going to stay in the bag. You're not going to use it all. So I'm just going to, when I take the chicken out, I will try to kind of get some of the oil off of the chicken, if that makes sense. Shake it off a little bit. So just make sure you seal the bag up completely. Take that air out as much as you can, and just make sure it's completely zipped up. You don't want any leaks. And just massage it into the chicken, and you just want to make sure that that seasoning and everything gets on every little piece. As I said before, you can use just 1 piece of chicken if you want. I just prefer the pieces. This next one is a lemon garlic chicken, and it is, I'm saying 4 points. I will, depending on if the oil stays on the chicken or not, I may have to adjust how I do that. But you will need 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and that is 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. For the seasoning, it is 1/2 tablespoon of lemon zest, 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of minced garlic, and that's about 2 cloves. And then I'm just going to mix that all together and put that into the olive oil. And as I said, if I have to adjust with the points and everything, if the oil does not stay in the bag at all and it stays on the chicken, I can always portion the chicken where I eat half of that with some other things, which I'm going to do anyway, such as a potato or a salad, vegetables, things like that. So that way I can keep the points low. But once you mix that together, just pour that marinade over the chicken. And if you have one of those little things that keep the bags open, that would work great as well for this. I've just always done it this way. I've just never seen the need to have those little stands. But if you have one, use it. It'll probably work great for this, especially if you're using the gallon bags. But do the same, just make sure you mix it all together. And like sometimes you can tell if the oil's going to stay on the chicken or if it's going to stay in the bag. Now this next one is super easy. Olive Garden marinade, 2 points. It is the Olive Garden light Italian dressing and about a half a tablespoon of brown sugar. And for this one, like I said, super easy. I've done this before with just regular Italian dressing, light Italian, zesty Italian dressing, I believe it was, with the brown sugar. But I never did portion it out. I just kind of poured it in. I'm using 4 tablespoons of dressing. 2 tablespoons would equal 1 point, so 4 equals 2. And the brown sugar, a half a tablespoon, is 2 points. So I just mix that together and just pour that into, I don't feel like the brown sugar is enough to really count. So that's up to you. And that's the other thing with Weight Watchers. I feel like some people do count some things, some people do not count others. So you kind of have to make that choice on your own. I've never had a problem with some things that I don't count, like butter. If I just use a half a tablespoon, like on my toast, I've never had a problem with that. I still lose weight. So you kind of have to adjust and kind of go, I think, how you feel with this. But I did not count it in this because I just feel like it's kind of a minuscule amount. But you can add it if you want. And teriyaki chicken. This is another super easy one. And this is just this teriyaki marinade and sauce. I'm using a smaller chicken breast for this because I'm not sure if I'm going to like this one or not. I have not tried it before. But I just added 2 tablespoons of the sauce. And I only counted it as 2 points because I thought, well, it was going to be thinner, and it's not. It's thicker. So it probably would be 4 points, possibly, because I think this is going to stick to the chicken. There won't be any left in the bag. And I'm adding about a half a teaspoon of the garlic, minced garlic to this. I think that'll add some flavor. And do the same thing, just kind of mix it all up and just seal up the bag. And as I said before, just make sure the seal is tight because you don't want any of that leaking out in your freezer. But what I'll do is take all of these and put them on a, and that's what I was trying to explain there too about the 2 points, that it's probably going to be 4. Because as I was doing that, I was realizing it's not going to stay in the bag. So live and learn. But I put the points on there beforehand, not realizing. So as I said, sometimes you just have to adjust. You will put these on a sheet pan and put them in the freezer so that way they can freeze flat. And once they freeze, then I just take them out of the sheet pan to store them easily in the freezer. And a few days later, I decided to cook the Italian herb chicken. And I'm going to leave it at 4 points because it only had about 1/4 of a teaspoon of oil that stayed in the bag. And each tablespoon, like I said, 1 tablespoon is 4 points, 2 tablespoons is 9. I'm going to keep it that way. And as you can see, this was the whole chicken breast that I had in the bag, and I'm just going to eat 1 portion tonight and 1 portion tomorrow. And this is how it turned out. That half of the chicken was more than enough. I feel like I need to make some maybe a sauce or something to go with it next time. And I had some broccoli with it and a small potato, which is 3 points, and all the seasoning on it was 0 points, but just the potato itself 3 points. So that total meal became 7 points for me. And that worked out great. I try to keep those between at least my dinners and stuff like that, about 9 and under if possible. But it turned out great. It was delicious. I do think next time I would try to make a little sauce with the chicken, only because I'm used to having it with either some type of cheese or cream cheese, something like that. And that's kind of high points on this. So, but overall, it was delicious. I did enjoy it. And hopefully, if it's something you decide to try to make, I hope that you enjoy it as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That will notify you when I post new videos. I hope everyone has a blessed day. God bless y'all.